Hi everyone, this is Rosa Kelly. Welcome to part 3 of my Butterfly Dreams mini album for JS Hobbies and Crafts. And you will find all the links to the store on the description box down below. Now on part 1 we worked on the binding and the cover and the hinges. And on part 2 we worked on the 2 signatures, which are pages 1, 2, 3, and 4. Including the shaker here, and today we are going to finish up with the next 2 pages and the front and back covers. So let's get started. So for the next page, we're going to cut 2 pieces of heavyweight cardstock. The first one is going to be 6.5 by 7 3/4, and the second one is going to be 6 3/4 by 7 3/4. So I'm gonna start by scoring the 6.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, and now I'm going to use my second sheet and I'm going to score 1/2 inch on the 6 3/4 inch side. Okay, so this one is a little bit bigger, and I'm gonna fold along the score lines on both of these, just like that. And I'm going to add the smaller piece on the right, and for that I'm going to be using my double-sided tape as well, just like this. And then cut these off. Oops. And so again, I'm gonna place this one on the right side. Just make sure I align these just like that, and I'm gonna take that out, and then I'm gonna place the larger one on the left, just like this. And this larger one is going to be the top. And oh, let me see if I can get this out. And I'm going to place this again. I'm going to make sure it's aligned and even, and take this out. So the smaller one, it's going to go in here, and the larger one is going to go on top. And I'm going to add my magnets along this side. Now I'm also going to be adding for this page a little pocket. So I'm going to use, actually I'm going to add a double pocket. So I'm going to start with this little piece of my scraps, and I'm going to make sure that I cut these at 7 1/4, just like that. So I have one piece, and I'm going to score 1/2 inch on this side. And then I'm gonna turn this and do 1/2 inch, just like we did our first pocket. And again, 1/2 inch. And I'm also going to go back with my paper punch, and now I'm going to be using this other beautiful design that I have here. And I'm gonna start on the edge, and I'm just gonna press hard, and see how easy these punches cut through this heavyweight cardstock. So let me line it up in here and cut it again. And, I should be pressing it against the table, but if I do that, then I'll shake the camera, and I don't want to do that for you guys. So, and then I'm gonna line it up one more time, and there you go. So, and this is okay. So now I'm gonna go back with my scissors, and I'm going to just cut from here and then to the side, and same thing here, and then to the side, and then I'm going to go at an angle like this and like that. Okay, so this is going to be one of the pockets, and like I said, I want to do a double pocket. So I'm just gonna fold this along. And before I glue this down here, I'm going to add one more pocket up there. So I'm gonna cut the other sheet for the second pocket at 5 1/2 by 7¼ just like this. And then I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna score 1/2 inch on each side, and then I'm going to do the border punch on the top. Okay, so I have the second pocket here. So I have one small pocket and one a little bit larger. Now I do want to put my pockets on a way that these ones kind of have the same spacing between them, and if I just layer them on top of each other, this one is a little bit too close. I wanted this one to be a little bit more up, but what I'm gonna do is just place it where I want, even though it's not all the way against the bottom. That it's okay with me. I can just make a smaller tag here because I will layer this one here, so the back pocket won't be as deep, but that's totally okay. You can put it whichever way you prefer. So I'm just gonna go with the glue, with the wet glue. I'd rather do wet glue when I add my pockets, that way I have a little bit of time to adjust and center. So again, I'm gonna put it right here, just like that. And then I'm gonna go back and add the other pocket right against the bottom edge here. So let me make sure this is even. Okay, so then I'll do the same with the smaller pocket. Now if you want your back pocket to be very deep and go all the way down, you can just make this cut a little bit bigger. So we cut ours at, I think, 5½. So maybe if you cut it at 6 or 6¼ it will be probably about the same dimension that you see here. All right, so now I have my double pocket and I'm going to cover it with the paper, but before I do that, I'm going to add magnets on this opening over here. So I'm gonna do one, and for that, as you know, I like to use my tape. I can't find the edge. I can feel it, but I can't see it. Okay, so I'm gonna do one magnet there and one for the other side. So I'll just glue it. I add it and I put the sticky side up, and then when we close this, we just make sure we press the side of the tapes, and then that should stay right in place. Okay, so I'm going to be using this sheet over here that has the 4 6x6 layouts, and this is how the back looks like on that sheet. So I'm going to be using the first square here on the top. So I'm going to cut this at 6, and I'm going to cut this again, and this is the image that I want to use. So I'm just going to go back here and kind of just pencil mark where I'm cutting. So it's going to be, I'm going to move it to the side a little bit. So I'm going to cut it right around where I mark with my pencil, which is where my border starts happening. I'm going to cut this just a little bit more because I don't think I cut it right. And so this one I will place right there. So I'm just going to do this really quick here. Just like that. And then this other piece I'm gonna layer on top. So again, I'm gonna cut this just a little bit smaller, and then I'm gonna get rid of the white edge. And so this one, it's going to go inside the pocket. Just make sure it goes in just like that. So I'm going to again just glue that in. Just like this. Perfect. And then I'm gonna cut one more piece for the top. So for the top, I'm just gonna be using this piece that I had left over from the other pages, and I'm just gonna add it inside right there, just like so. And then I'm just going to complement the look by adding some bling on the edge here of the pocket, just like this, for both of the pockets. Okay, so I'm gonna cut these at 7.5 by 6, and this is going to be the perfect size for this side as well as this side. And for these two sides, we're gonna cut it a little bit smaller. Instead of being by 6, it's going to be by 5 3/4. Okay, so I'm gonna do that off camera, and let's move on to the next page. Okay, so for the back of that page, I'm gonna be using one of the 6x6 papers. So I'm actually going to just cut this out, and I'm actually gonna use both, because I'm gonna use one on the front and one on the back. So I'll just use these two. So I'm going to be making a flip to go up. So I'm gonna use another piece of cardstock, and I'm gonna cut these at 6 1/4 by 7 1/4. Okay, so just like that. And then I'm going to use my paper punch one more time and just punch on one of the edges. So if you are not using a paper punch, you can just cut these 1/2 inch smaller. Okay, you won't need it. You won't need the extra 1/2 inch that I'm adding. So I'm gonna go 2 and one more here, just like that. And again, I'm just gonna go with my scissors and just round the end on the side here, just like that. And now I'm going to grab my scoreboard, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch on this side here. Okay, and this is where we're going to attach it to our page. So it's going to go right over here, and so I'm just going to glue this on the front. Okay, just like so. Perfect. And then I'm going to use my double-sided tape and just add it here, and we're gonna place this one right along the top. Okay, and actually before I add it, I'm going to place this one. It'll be much easier. So make sure that when we flip this open, this image is going to be standing up, and so you don't want to place it upside down. So I'm just gonna add it really quick, and then we can place everything in the page. So just like this. I was thinking on adding a magnet here as well, in the back here and the back here, but I don't think I'm gonna need it. But that is an option. If you want to add a magnet there as well, then you can. So here we go. So this is my flip up, and then all we have to do is cut a piece of paper here that's gonna measure 7.5 by 6, and we are done with this page. Okay, next page. So I'm going to grab a new piece of cardstock, and I'm going to cut these at, again, 7 3/4, and you can cut it, I guess we can cut it like this to save a little paper. So at 7 3/4 by, I'm going to cut these at 6.5. Okay, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch on one side. Just like so, and then I'm gonna also score a 1/4 inch after that. So I'm gonna score at 1/2, and I'm gonna score at 3/4. So just like so, and then I'm gonna fold this along both of these score lines, just like so. And what I'm trying to do here is add this little gusset, just a little dimension, because I'm going to be doing a waterfall inside the page. So I'm going to add my double-sided tape here on the first 1/2 inch little flap, and now I'm gonna hold my page and I'm gonna add this on the left side. So for now you can keep it flat, and so we can peel off this tape. Okay, so I'm gonna need this so we can peel it off just a little bit. And so we're keeping the 1/4 inch flat just for now so we can align this properly, and it's gonna be just like so. So I'm gonna take this off. Okay, and now we can stand this perpendicularly. So now I'm gonna need a closure for this page, so when we open this I'm gonna have a waterfall here. So before I cover this page with paper, I'm gonna add seam binding on this side and seam binding on this side. So I'm gonna put some seam binding on this side, and I like using my fabric glue and then going on top with my double-sided tape just so it's really secure. So I'm gonna do this side first, and then I'm gonna do here as well. I do want to make sure these two are aligned on the same area. So I'm gonna do this one, and again with the tape I'm just gonna hold it just like so. And now I'm ready to just cover everything with paper, and then we'll come back and do our waterfall. Okay, so this is how I cover mine. I use this beautiful design with the swans, and then I cover the inside as well. So now to make that waterfall, I'm gonna grab a piece of regular weight cardstock, and I'm just gonna cut it at 5 1/2, which is exactly half that page, and then I'm gonna cut it one more time at 4 1/4, and then I'm gonna do the same one more time with another sheet, and then I'm gonna score each one of them along the 4 1/4 inch side on the left side, just like this. Okay, so next I'm just gonna grab each one of these, and I fold it along the score line, and I'm just gonna place it right on the top, and I'm just gonna be using my wet glue for this, and I'll press it down just like that. I make sure that it's even on both sides and aligned to the top of the page, and then I'm gonna open this and start adding the rest of them. So I'm gonna do exactly the same thing. I'm gonna place it right on the bottom of this one, and what I like to do when I make a waterfall is I always like to close it and make sure that I am aligned and straight on both sides, and then I open it again and I keep building up. So I have 8 ready. I might not have to use all of them. I'm just going to build up until I have about 1/2 inch left over from the bottom here. So now I have my waterfall completed, and now I'm going to use one of my scrap pieces just to cover the front layout here, just to add a little decoration, and I'm gonna leave the rest blank just to add pictures on both sides and not to make it extra bulky. And so I think I just pencil mark and cut this piece. I love this butterfly. It is so cute, and the colors on this collection is so happy. It definitely feels like spring or even summer. It will be a beautiful collection also for a wedding album. So I really like it. So I'm gonna leave that like that, and then here on the side, this is how we will tie it and have a little closure for our waterfall. Now if you want extra room for pictures, you can probably create a second waterfall on this side. I'm thinking maybe something more like on a vertical side. So you will do the same. Actually, why don't we just do that? We will cut, I only use 7 pieces for the waterfall, by the way, and I have another piece here. So you will do the same. You just cut it in half, and then, oh, I cut this too big. You cut it in half and in half again. And so let me do one more here. So at 5.5 by 4.25. And now this time, if you want to make this a vertical waterfall, we're gonna score along the 5.5 inch side. Oops. And you will do the same for all of these pieces that I have. And then when we build the waterfall, we actually will be adding the glue right on the top. And then we'll do the same, but then we're creating a smaller, more like vertical waterfall. Okay, so I'm done with the waterfall over here, and I'm just adding this piece of paper that came from, let me show you, cover that out first. So that came from this sheet that has like the 4x6 and then 2 6x6. So I just got one out and I trimmed it a little bit. And so yeah, so this is gonna be the double waterfall page. And now we can go ahead and work on the back side of this page over there. So I'm going to use another piece of cardstock and cut it at 6 3/4 by 7 3/4. Okay, 6 3/4 by 7 3/4. Now I'm going to score again at 1/2 inch on the side, and we are going to fold along the score line just like that, and then we are going to add some tape just right here like this, and cut that out. And then I'm going to add a little punch edge on this side. So I'm trying to decide if I want this pretty one or if I want this one. I think I'm gonna go for this one. Okay, and it's amazing how these punches just cut through heavyweight cardstock like that. So I'm gonna be using this beautiful butterfly. Oh my goodness, I love this one so much. So again, I'm gonna cut at 7 1/2. So remember, every time that you are matting your paper, you always, or at least I always cut it 1/4 inch smaller. So if this measures 7 3/4, I cut these at 7 1/2, and then I get a little bit of the white edge around, and I really like that. Now for this side, because I did the trim or the punch, I'm just gonna mark it right here where I'm going to cut it. And I do it this way because you might have a different paper punch and it might not be exactly the same dimensions, so you work with what you have. And now this one, I'm gonna place it right here, and I actually need to trim it just a little bit smaller here. Let me see, let me try again. And yeah, so that is perfect. So now I'm going to, I can glue it right now, and then we can add it into our page. So let me place it right there, and now I can go ahead and grab, this is the back. Oh, see, I always double check the direction because you don't want to place it upside down. So this is going to be the page. We're going to turn it like this, and now I'm going to just peel a little bit of this tape and place it along the side and make sure it's aligned everywhere. Now hold it and take this tape out, and here we go. We have a pretty page with a pretty border that is going to open up like this, and then we can just go ahead and cover this up. And I'm also going to be adding my beautiful bling up on this edge. So now we're ready to add the next 2 pages into our album here, and I'm going to do it the same way we did the previous 2. I'm going to peel off the tape. I added double-sided tape in both sides of the hinge. I peel a little bit out, and then we're going to find the center of the insert, and we're going to start on the bottom to the top. Make sure it's straight and aligned and center up and down, and then we're going to press and take off this tape. There we go. And now we're gonna turn it, and if you have a little tool like this, it really helps to take the tape off on the inside here of the page, just like that. And then all we do is press hard, and then I'm gonna do the same one more time and add this page. Now this one goes like this, so I'm gonna hold it in. Okay, so center up and down, and here we go. So now I just take this out just like that, and then I'm gonna take the tape off on the other side, just like this. And note that when we add the flap on the same, I guess on the opposite page, then we don't need to add a magnet here. So if we would have flipped this and added this page on this side, then we wouldn't need a closure. So, but on this position, we don't need it. All right, so now we are ready to finish up and do the front and the back covers. Okay, so one thing that I do when I am working on my back cover or back and front cover, it's I always go back to my scraps and see what I have that I can use, so I don't cut into a new sheet or waste more paper, or find a way to use it. So this time I have these 6x6 pieces, which I absolutely love. One of the things I love about Hartford Creations is that they do these different layouts and sizes, so you can utilize them in many different ways. So I'm gonna use these 6x6 cards, and I'm going to save these ones and see where else I can incorporate that. But I'm gonna do a booklet that's gonna be 6x6, so I'm also gonna be using this sheet here. So I'm gonna start by cutting all of these up. Okay, so I have them all cut up, and now I'm going to cut 3 pieces of 6 1/4 by 6 3/4. Okay, so we need 3 of those, and then I'm going to score along the 6 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch for all of these 3 pieces, and then I'm going to bend along the score line and add some tape, or we can actually do this with glue as well. So I'm just gonna do this really quick here. 1, 2, and 3, and what I'm gonna do is just layer them on top of each other. So I'm gonna add some glue, and I'm gonna fold this in and just layer right on top, just like that. And same thing on this one. Add some glue and layer right on top here. So I have 3 right on top of each other, just like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna use my paper and I'm gonna start covering. I'm gonna cover every one except for the front, or actually we could actually cover the front too, but remember to put a magnet on the first one. So I'm gonna do that first so I don't forget. I'm gonna put a magnet because we do want a closure for this little booklet we're making. And all I'm gonna do now is just cover both sides of these papers. Okay, so now I have the booklet cover on both sides, each page, and I have this little flap. So I'm also going to add glue on this flap, and this time I'm going to place it on my back cover, and I'm going to make sure I'm not touching the score line here that you bent for when you close your album. You want to stay away from that. Here we go, just like so. I'm going to place that right there like this, and now I'm gonna go back and grab any piece of scraps that you have, maybe like something like this, and this is where my magnet is, so I'm going to go ahead and add the other magnet if I can find it. Okay, I found it. So I'm kind of I'm just putting it there to know where it is. And I'm going to give it about a finger here away, and I'm going to mark, I'm just going to mark with my score where I'm going to bend this paper. So I'm just going to bend it right here. You can score it if you like, but I'm just going to do this, just like that. And this I'm actually going to just trim like so. And I'm gonna place this on my back here. Okay, just like this. I'm gonna give it a little bit of room here. So first things first, I'm gonna add my glue and open this up, place it on the cover, and you want to make sure that it's gonna go on top of that magnet. And we're just adding a little belt here. That's all we're doing. And now we grab the magnet again, and I don't have a lot of room to add the double-sided tape like I always do. This is probably as long as I can go. So I'm gonna have my sticky side up, and I'm also gonna put a little bit of glue on the magnet as well. And then I'm just going to close it, and I'm not going to make it super tight. Give it a little bit of room to expand after we add the pictures. Okay, so now we have a little belt closure, and we go back and cover this and cover that, and then we're going to add another design paper here. Okay, so mine, it's all covered. So this is how it looks like. And now let's finish up with the front cover. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is just go back to this page and add, I'm going to add a little bit of bling here as well on the top, and then I'm going to cover the inside here using our leftovers. Okay, so for this page, I'm going to be using the same sheet that I use here. So the 12 by 12, I cut it by 6 and 7.5, and that's gonna go here. But before I glue that, I want to utilize the other piece here when I cut these 7.5, so we have this remaining. So I'm gonna use these and also use some of the scraps left when we cut this piece here, and create kind of like a little gatefold type thing. So I'm going to start this time. I'm going to work in reverse since I'm working with the paper. Put this on the side, and I'm just going to cut this, and I want to see what this measures. This measures about 4 1/4, just like that. And I'm gonna cut these at 5 1/2. Okay, and this one as well, 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And now I'm gonna grab my heavyweight cardstock, and make sure this measures 4.5. and I'm gonna need 2 pieces, and I forgot what this measures, sorry. So 5.5. So then we're gonna cut these at 6.25. Okay, so we're gonna do the same for both, 6.25, and now we're gonna score along the 6.25 1/2 inch. So here we go. I'm gonna score 1/2 inch here and 1/2 inch here as well. So I'm gonna fold these and this, and now I'm going to go back to my page here, and you want to work very careful because you don't want to smash your cover, your flowers. And so I'm going to glue. You can use tape as well, but I'm just gonna do glue, and I'm just gonna add these right over on this side, and I'm going to glue this other one and go on the other side. So again, make sure you are not going on top of the score line to open and close your book. So let me go up a little bit, just like right there. So now we have these flaps, and now I'm going to glue the back right over here. Just like so. And then this is gonna close like this and like that. So on this side I can go ahead and add the paper. Just right here, and it kind of continues with the butterfly garden on the back. And before we glue this one on, I'm going to add a magnet here and here. Alright, so now it's all covered up with the magnet. So for the pockets that we have here and here, all I'm gonna do is just use these pieces from the collection, like this one and maybe this one. I'll trim it a little bit here, and just back these on cardstock and make them into photo mats for your pockets. And let me show you how I'm going to do the inserts for the pages. So for the page inserts, I'm going to use heavyweight cardstock again, and I'm gonna cut these at 7.5 by 6, and this is going to fit here exactly into our album. And if you wish, you could punch this border again. This is why I make it a little bit bigger, so you can punch it. But what I'm gonna do on mine is I'm gonna use this beautiful beaded French trim 1.25 that was included on my design team package, and I absolutely love it, and I think it's gonna add a lot of detail, and it's gonna be make the album very elegant. So I'm just going to cut this, and I'm going to glue these on the edge of my page. Now if you like, you can cover this up as well. I usually tend not to cover my inserts because then it gets too wide after we add the pictures, and then it's hard to put in and out. But it's definitely up to you. So I'm just adding a little bit of fabric glue, and I'm going to place this gorgeous trim in here, just like this. Isn't it beautiful? And I'm gonna just make sure it's straight. Oops. And then I'm just gonna trim here on this side, and I'm going to do the same for all the 4 inserts. I love how this looks. And now this is going to be my insert here on this side. Well, you want to make sure it dries before you added in, but you get the point. You get them all out just like that, and I think it's gonna look so pretty once we finish adding all the sides. And yes, we are done, and I hope that you guys enjoy this tutorial series. I hope that I was able to inspire you and I was making myself clear. If you guys have any questions, please let me know on the section down below. You can add your comments, you can email me, and please visit JS Hobbies and Crafts to get all the supplies that you will need to make this mini album. The collection is so beautiful. I'm going to do a final walkthrough of the complete album right after I upload this video. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much, Shelly, for inviting me to guest design for your store. I absolutely love your store, and you as well. You're a beautiful person, so thank you so much, everyone there on your team, and thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.